What's going on, my fellow Dragon Ball fans? This latest episode of Dragon Ball Super was epic. Not just because Goku literally grinded up Kelfa's Ki Blast and Kamehameha the fuck out of her. Like, who saw that coming? Like, I literally fangirled so hard, I rewinded that part around 4 or 5 times when I first saw it. It was just that dope. I was in awe. Another reason this episode was great was because it actually showed us more about Ultra Instinct, what it actually is, some weaknesses it has, and I have a theory about an additional weakness that was not stated in this episode, but it's kind of hinted at, and I'll get to that in a second. But before I talk about that, let me say that this fight between Goku and Kelfa was amazing. A lot of people were kind of doubting it, saying it wouldn't be all that great because Kelfa shouldn't be anywhere near as powerful as she is. But, I mean, hey, it was still dope. And I actually prefer it over the Goku versus Jiren fight, the first one. Come at me, bro, dislikes, whatever the fuck. But I actually like this fight better because, one, Goku was more like Goku. He was actually talking, powering up. It was shown that he was planning things. Like, we actually got to hear Goku talk in Ultra Instinct, and the Jiren fight, I think he just screamed at one point. He was completely silent, which actually improved the badassery of Ultra Instinct, the first revelation of it, and I think that was the point. I mean, I'm pretty sure a few years from now, we're going to be like, do you guys remember Ultra Instinct from a few years ago when Goku first fought Jiren, when Ultra Instinct was first introduced? Those were the times, wasn't it? I mean, it's an epic fight, don't get me wrong, but I actually like learning more about Ultra Instinct in this fight. But first, let's get the weakness that was confirmed already in this episode for Ultra Instinct, and I'll get into the one that's more theory, but I still think it makes sense later on. But until Goku's masters Ultra Instinct, he can basically dodge any attack. He can parry all kinds of attacks. His body is basically on autopilot. But when it's time to strike back, that split second it takes for him to think, he could not bring out Ultra Instinct's full potential, which is why he dodged all of Kelfa's attacks, but really didn't damage her all that much until the Kamehameha at the end. And when he struck Kelfa, she was like, bro, is that all you've got? Like, you're doing ballet and gymnastics all over my attacks, but you really aren't packing too much of a punch, at least not as much as she thought he would pack. So as of right now, like I said, until Goku masters Ultra Instinct, it only allows him to stay away from danger. Like, it allows him to dodge just about everything, but that split second it takes for him to think about what attack to use to finish the job is more than enough time for him to get fucked up, like, say, from someone like Jiren or something. And I think this episode completely foreshadows not only when Goku masters Ultra Instinct, he'll be able to dodge things on autopilot, but he'll be able to attack on autopilot. Like, he's done a few, quick attacks thanks to Ultra Instinct's dodging abilities, hitting people in their blind spots and whatnot. But it's not been enough to really knock anybody out besides the Kamehameha, and that was confirmed. Goku was charging his Kamehameha while allowing Ultra Instinct to, pretty much dodge everything because every one of his limbs pretty much has a mind of its own at Ultra Instinct. But there is one more weakness Ultra Instinct has that I saw in this episode that a lot of people aren't really talking about right now. I don't know if this will change when Goku masters Ultra Instinct, but as of right now, Goku can dodge everything that is physically able for his body to dodge. And what I mean by that is when Kelfa was releasing those crazy Ki Blasts and those energy lasers pretty much, she actually grazed Goku's elbow and cut some of his hair off. And I know you guys are saying, hey, JB, that's because his stamina was wearing out. He said so himself. But think about it this way. If Goku is up against someone that is as fast as he is in Ultra Instinct, like he's damn near moving like light speed levels in my opinion, or close to it, there's only so far his body can stretch to dodge things, besides like instant transmission. But what if someone has a technique that's so fast, so unpredictable, and so like zigzag, like kind of like Kelfa's lasers, that his body can't like stretch in a position or find a way for him to dodge unscathed? So I'm calling it now. Ultra Instinct allows Goku to evade danger as long as it's physically able to be dodged. Like, I don't think he can dodge literally everything because, like, punches, regardless how fast they are from Jiren, there's always a gap. Like, he can't make a huge wall of punches. Like, one punch has to come slightly before the other, if that makes any sense. Like, he can't He doesn't grow like a whole bunch of Ashura arms and punch the fuck out of shit. No, he still has 2 arms. Even though it's at blinding speed and looks like a wall of punches, there is still a slight fraction of a second where Goku is able to dodge. But if there are like countless, and I mean countless lasers, similar to how Kelfa, released her ki or whatever, if someone else has an ability like that that's more powerful and faster, if they're all coming at Goku at once from every angle, then there's not a way that Ultra Instinct can dodge that I can think of, unless he does instant transmission. But what if it's so fast that he can't even do instant transmission? Like, there's not enough time. But I'm calling it now. After this arc, way in the future, after Ultra Instinct is a thing, after he masters it and everything, there's going to be some opponent that could attack Goku from each direction so fast that his body can't move out the way. But since he will have mastered Ultra Instinct at that point, maybe Ultra Instinct allows him to dodge to where the damage is minimalized, but I don't think Ultra Instinct will allow him to dodge in a way that his body can't realistically move. I mean, Goku's flexible as hell. He can jump, he can fly, he can run real fast. He can do a lot of shit very quickly. But if a lot of things are coming at him at once from every direction, there's only so much that he can do. Now, whether Goku was grazed by Kelfa's lasers was because he was fatigued or because it was just stuff everywhere that he couldn't physically, realistically dodge everything without getting hit just a little bit, I think that's reason enough to believe that Ultra Instinct is not invincible, even if Goku masters it, because there is only a certain amount of room Goku has to move around in one spot. So if he's attacked from every angle for whatever reason somehow, I think, Ultra Instinct, that may be its biggest weakness. But that's just a theory, but tell me what you guys thought. I really enjoyed this episode, and I really want to see what Goku looks like when he masters Ultra Instinct, or what he can do, and what this autopilot dodging and attacking simultaneously will look like. And Dragon Ball Super needs more grinding on Ki Blast. Like, I'm seriously still shocked about that. That shit was really dope. But tell me what you guys thought. This has been jbDAuchiha. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.